Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Okay. Public comment. We have Marilyn Freeman.
Good afternoon. My name is Marilyn Freeman. I live on Southview Road in Sutter. I have lived at that location for 31 years, and it's a beautiful, peaceful place to live, and I like to keep it that way. But I am worried. I'd like to talk about the subject code U22-0003 SING. You have an upcoming zone code text amendment to modify the food processing, agriculture, and recreation combined district to allow a general truck yard within the food processing portion on 320 acres on Southview Road in Sutter. Southview Road is the designated scenic drive of the California State Park of the Sutter Buttes, part of a 40-mile loop around the Sutter Buttes. There are tenants within the Sutter County General Plan to preserve and protect the viewshed of the majestic Buttes, the smallest mountain range in the world. A no vote would be in accordance to the Sutter County General Plan. This Southview Road truck yard amendment covers the 320 acres and is 1.4 miles driving distance from Wynkoop Road to Moorhead Road to the west, and 1/2 mile wide on Highway 20 from Southview Road to Highway 20 is 1/2 mile. This is a massive area right on the scenic drive of Southview Road, and it also fronts Highway 20. The truck yard of this size can hold 12,000 diesel trucks and trailers, causing significant traffic, noise, diesel fumes that cause health issues, contamination, and crime. It could destroy the peaceful community of Sutter and the tourism to the Sutter Buttes. This is the wrong location for a truck yard next to a residential area. There are currently 15 truck yards in Sutter County and 2 new proposals for truck yards. One is at Eager Road and one is at Highway 99 at 113. Those are better locations as they are on the main Highway 99 truck route. The Sutter County Planning Commission has researched the zoning proposal and has recommended to the Sutter County Supervisors for a no vote, and that is what I'd like you to do. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sorry, I think I was supposed to read this before public comment. That members of the public will be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State allows, law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any items not appearing on the posted agenda. So thank you for your comments. And is there anybody else, any other public comment? At this time, could I ask Chief Shawitz please come forward and give us a report?
Members of the board, thank you. I've been asked by CAO Smith to address you and kind of give you an update of the fire that we had this weekend at the Empire Steel factory. kind of give you an overview of what the fire consisted of, and wanted to thank some people publicly for a lot of the help that we received, because Sutter County Fire can't do this alone, and we definitely rely on our mutual aid partners. So the fire actually was in a large pile of appliances that are getting scrapped. So they remove a lot of the hazardous chemicals out of them as much as they possibly can, and they start to pile those. This was a very large pile, including a lot of plastics, a lot of foams, a lot of different types of things, different types of metals. The fire was quickly got out of control. It started about 2 o'clock on Saturday. During the incident, we concluded the incident Sunday at about 6 p.m. was the last engine finally left the situation. While we were there, we flowed over 950,000 gallons of water. To calculate that, there was 5 tenders that are about 3,000 gallons apiece. You can do the math. They did a lot of driving. These guys did a lot of work. We did suffer one minor injury to a firefighter. It was a mutual aid firefighter from Colusa County. He was treated and released from the hospital. It was heat related, was not related to the fire. But at this time, really, with the fire, it is still, it was ruled judgmental, gosh darn it. It was ruled accidental. Sorry, I don't know where judgmental came from. But I was judgmental on my findings, sorry. It was ruled accidental they basically had been working the piles with heavy equipment, and we think we had some sort of friction that caused the fire to start in the metals. Temperatures are out there. Everybody who was out this weekend, I know a lot of people were out at the fair. A lot of people were out in that weather. We had just under 70 personnel working there in 106-degree weather, and you add the fire, you add the smoke, it was hot. We had a lot of guys that worked their butts off to get that fire out. I'd like to personally thank the agencies, and you're going to hear this long list of agencies, and why I stress, and when you hear me stress, the importance of mutual aid. Everybody here is going to see the massive amount of agencies that supplied equipment. And then I'm also going to take a chance to thank the agencies that supplied their chief officers, their command role out of their department to come help us here in the county. So the units I'd like to thank is, first of all, Sutter County Fire, my men and women that were there, and Sutter County Sheriff. We worked great together, working on some minor evacuations and road closures in the beginning of the fire, and representatives from the Sheriff's Department were there with me at the command post the whole time. A lot of support from them. Yuba City Fire, huge support. Marysville Fire, Linda Fire, Olivehurst Fire, Wheatland Fire, Cal Fire Butte, Cal Fire Placer, Sacramento River Fire Department, Meridian Fire Department, Colusa Fire Department, Williams Fire Department, Maxwell Fire Department, Arbuckle Fire Department, State of California Office of Emergency Services, and Bi-County Ambulance. And then chief officers that were supplied, one from Yuba City Fire Department, one from Williams, one from Meridian, 2 from Cal Fire Butte, and 1 from Cal Fire Placer. That is an exceptional amount of overhead. This fire was, as anybody saw the fire this weekend, it put up a lot of smoke. We had a lot of toxic chemicals in the smoke, and there's been a lot of concerned citizens that have reaching out to me, and I'd like to, get the public word out there that if there is still concerned citizens, that they can reach out to our Development Services Environmental Health Division, and they can take any concerns and help the questions get answered that they need to get answered. A lot of questions about polluting of the water supply and all those questions. I'd like for those questions to definitely go to them. We have turned the incident over to the state, and they will be investigating, hopefully, and looking at remediation of that area. So if there's any further questions, I just want to really openly say thank you to all the partners that helped us, and obviously to the Sheriff's Department for being so supportive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. I think that's amazing that we had people driving for mutual aid were probably some of them more than an hour away, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible that they were willing to come and help us put this fire out.
Actually, there is one that I didn't hit. Was sorry about that. Was United States Air Force, Beale Air Force Base, sent a crash rescue truck. That's huge to get that type of resource off the base.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you once again, Chief.
Yep.
All right, at this time, with the consent calendar groups together those items which are considered non-controversial or for which prior policy direction has been given to staff and that require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that the matters may be adopted in total by one motion. However, the board may, at its option or upon request of a member of the public, consider any matter separately.
Move to approve items 1 through 28.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, do we need a roll call vote? Sorry, roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
All right, moving on to item 29, Sheriff Barnes.
Public hearing to consider an uncodified ordinance of the County of Sutter approving and adopting Sutter County Sheriff's Office military equipment use policy as required by State of California Assembly Bill 481, waives the full reading, directs the clerk to read the title only, and continues the item to July 12, 2022 for adoption.
All good?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair, members of the board. So this is in response to Assembly Bill 481, which was codified and makes amendments to the Government Code 7070 through 7075. And what it requires is that law enforcement agencies provide a list of items that are deemed to be military equipment. And so they went through and provided a list of those particular items that would qualify under this section. So we've developed a policy around that. That policy is in your board packet. If you were to look at that policy at the bottom of the first page, there's a military equipment inventory. So armored personnel carrier, mobile command vehicle, less lethal projectiles, unmanned aerial vehicles or drones, AR-15 style rifles, diversionary devices, typically called flashbangs, and ballistic personnel protective equipment, which would be our helmets, vests, things like that, that we would typically use for our deployments. So also with that is a list of what our current inventory is. We're not asking to purchase any new items. The list that you have in your packet is things that would qualify under this that we now have to declare and make available to the public. And so well over 30 days ago, we put a copy of the policy and the list on both the county's webpage and our sheriff's office webpage. Since that time, we've gotten no public comment from anybody, and so we're here today to seek future approval of this ordinance so that we can comply with the law. Additionally, it does require that I provide an annual report to the board of an updated list, and any future purchases would have to be approved by the board as well, as long as they classified as military equipment.
Move to approve. Move to approve.
Second.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
An uncodified ordinance of the County of Sutter approving and adopting Sutter County Sheriff's Office military equipment policy.
Thank you. Moving on to item 30, Steve Geiger.
Public hearing to consider planning project U22-0010 Sutter County, a zoning code text amendment amending sections 1500-03-040H agriculture use type definition to state that equipment and materials storage in support of forestry operations is included in the definition of agriculture. This project is exempt from CEQA, introduces an ordinance amending chapter 1500 of the Sutter County Ordinance Code, waives the full reading, directs the clerk to read the title only, and adopts the ordinance.
Good afternoon, board member Steve Geiger, planner with Development Services. So currently our zoning code defines agriculture as including the raising of crops and animals, as well as uses and structures accessory to and supporting agricultural operations, including non-commercial agricultural equipment repair, barns, composting, corrals, greenhouses, offices and farming headquarters, stables, storage, and similar uses. Agriculture is further classified into one of two categories: animal husbandry and crops and tree farms. Farmers park equipment and vehicles on their property in support of their farming operations. Similarly, there have been individuals who are involved in the forestry industry who have historically parked vehicles and equipment on agricultural property without complaint to the county. Staff proposes to clarify that this use and activity is an allowed use and should be considered a part of the zoning code definition of agriculture. To make this clarification, the revisions to the agricultural use type definition that are shown as underlined text in the staff report
for updates.
Staff report should be made. These include adding a sentence within the body of the agricultural description to include shall also include equipment and materials storage in support of forestry operations, as well as a third category underneath that lists out agriculture forestry support includes facilities limited to equipment and materials storage in support of forestry operations. The Planning Commission considered this proposed zoning code text amendment at its May 18, 2022 regular meeting, and after conducting a public hearing where no opposition was expressed, the Planning Commission has recommended approval of the proposed zoning code text amendment to the Board of Supervisors by a unanimous 7-0 vote. So based on this, it's therefore recommended that the Board of Supervisors approves Project U220010 subject to the findings contained in your staff report. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Any public comment? We'll close the public hearing and come back to the board.
Move approval of the recommended action.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
An ordinance of the County of Sutter amending sections 1500-03-040H of Chapter 1500 of the Ordinance Code to state that equipment and material storage in support of forestry operations is included in the definition of agriculture within unincorporated Sutter County.
Thank you. At this time, we have an appearance item. We have Dr. Liu with us for a presentation.
Presentation regarding 2022 by County Health Officer goals.
Please bear with us. We're just loading up the presentation. Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. I'm here as your health officer to present my goals for Sutter County for 2022. So it was recommended that I come before you all in a public meeting to present these 2022 goals, and I will be following up periodically for updates. So before we even get to the goals, let's talk about public health. I think there's actually a lot of confusion, misunderstanding, lack of clarity of what is within the purview of public health and what is not. So overall, we have 3 themes that we want to focus on within public health. We assess, we monitor health, we diagnose and investigate certain public health related diseases such as communicable disease. We inform and educate the public on health promotion and disease prevention. We mobilize across various community partnerships and sectors, and then based on that knowledge, we develop policies, public health policies. There's also various state health and safety codes that allows us the authority to enforce certain communicable disease control measures. We also link to care for vulnerable population and ensure a competent public health workforce for the 21st century. And then all of this is through the lens of evaluation, how well we're doing, how is the community doing, and it's always through what we call a systems management approach, looking at the overall population and always grounded in science and evidence-based medicine and knowledge. Again, just to emphasize that public health focuses on the population, on disease prevention and health promotion for the entire community of Sutter County. That is in contrast to clinical medicine, whereas the focus is on the specific individual, specific patient. Clinical medicine emphasizes on clinical diagnosis, treatment, and care of that individual patient. Public health is part of the overall ecosystem of healthcare, but within the ecosystem, there's multiple different entities. Clinical sites, your hospitals, your clinics, your treatment centers, behavioral health, even health plans, Kaiser, California Health and Wellness, Anthem, and of course us in public health. So public health is a member of that healthcare team. And at times, we're going to be that subject matter expert because we know how to handle that communicable disease, and it's within our mandated activities. For example, active tuberculosis case investigation and management for disease control and prevention. At other times, we're not the expert. We might have some data. We might be able to provide inputs, but we should not be the lead, nor are we the subject matter expert. For example, substance use prevention and treatment. That's the expert here is going to be Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health. So my first goal is the assistance with the community health improvement process. So Sutter County Public Health has just recently completed our community health assessment, otherwise known as CHA. We're going to come back to you all board to present those findings very shortly here, hopefully next month. And then the next complementary process after the CHA is called the CHIP process, the Community Health Improvement Plan. And really what you want to think about the CHIP process is a discussion across multi-sector within the community of actionable strategies and goals to improve the overall community health within Sutter County. So I'll be working very closely with our Sutter County Public Health Branch Director on the CHIP, and that will also lead us to hopefully be accredited for Sutter County Public Health. Second goal, tackling the local sexually transmitted disease epidemic. So STDs are things such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis. For Sutter County, I'm working closely again with the branch director of public health and our nursing staff and other communicable disease control staff to implement contact tracing for STDs. We're going to start with syphilis. And really what you want to focus on is that preventing transmission and propagation of these STDs, you want to reach out to their sexual contacts, their close contact, bring them in for timely treatment to break that chain of transmission. Goal number 3 is to assist Sutter County Public Health staff to move to a different phase of the COVID-19 response. I'm happy to tell you this has already been implemented very successfully for the past 3 months. So it started implementation in early March 2022. And what you want to think about is that we move from a very intensive activities focusing on universal contact investigation and tracing for COVID-19 of the general public we're now moving to a more targeted approach, focusing on high-risk congregate settings such as the jail, homeless shelters, and also our healthcare settings. Number 4, disaster response planning preparedness through a Med Health lens. So I serve as the MOHOC, the Med Health Operational Area Coordinator for Sutter County. And through that position, I'm working very closely with public health and others within the overall Health and Human Services Department to update our policy and procedures from a Med Health guidance standpoint so that we're prepared to stand up, say, with a congregate sheltering, how to manage the Med Health needs of the evacuees. And this likely will also involve tabletop exercises for our public health staff. Goal number 5 is to assist in the Medi-Cal CalAIM implementation in the Yuba-Sutter region. 30-second synopsis of CalAIM. It's a transformational initiative to bring to Medi-Cal beneficiary a whole person care approach, really addressing the social determinants of health. I serve as the secondary CalAIM County Facilitator for the Bi-County Yuba-Sutter region. In that capacity, I provide guidance and linkages between Medi-Cal managed care plans. Currently, we have Anthem and California Health and Wellness and our local partners, including but not exclusive to healthcare organizations, community-based organizations, and also other governmental entities, including other Sutter County departments. Finally, continue community engagement. So every month I meet with the superintendent of schools for Sutter County Office of Education, and then I will continue engagement very closely with the healthcare executives of the 3 federally qualified health centers, AMPA, Harmony Health, and Peachtree. Of course, we're in constant communication with Ventus Health and Rita as our only hospital in the region, and Sutter North Medical Group. Since 2020, I serve as a board member on the Yuba-Sutter Calusa Medical Society, so another route for me to engage closely with the Yuba-Sutter medical provider community. I will continue to provide ad hoc updates to community partners and key community stakeholders regarding public health matters of concern, including, but not limited to, COVID-19, monkeypox, but also chronic disease prevention. And then through the community health improvement process, I look forward to active engagement with community-based organizations. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take your question.
Any questions from the public at this time? Anybody on the board?
Through the chair, Dr. Liu, I noticed that item number 2 is SIDS. Is it really an epidemic in Sutter County, or is it an epidemic everywhere? Or what, can you?
It's an epidemic everywhere, sir, but unfortunately, we're not omitted from that epidemic. And what we want to think about is if you look at the rates from even 5-10 years ago to now, it's an increase by several 100%. And one of the most troubling statistics is that every year we have a handful of congenital syphilis cases. So these cases are transmitted from the mother through vaginal delivery to the baby. So I want to bring that to 0. And tackling the STD epidemic, especially the syphilis epidemic, is our way of hopefully bringing that statistics down back to 0 where it belongs.
So you think that's probably the worst issue we have in the county right now, is that, or is it something else?
So these are my health officer goals for 2022 through the community health improvement process, the CHIP process that I referenced. We'll be able to gather input from the community through multiple sectors on what are the community's actionable strategies for Sutter County overall. We don't want to just generate them from public health. We want to gather them from the community across multiple sectors to establish those strategies.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Supervisor Flores.
Dr. Liu, thank you for your presentation. It's nice to see the goals laid out so we know exactly what you're working on. And thank you for your continued role in all that you do here with the county. I do have a question, though. We were hearing a lot lately about the Blue Zones project. Can you tell us if Blue Zones is somehow related to any of the goals that you're working on, or that you'll be working with the Blue Zones project at all, or lead us that direction?
Yeah, so the Blue Zone, as you know, is an initiative based out of Adventist Health and Right Out. As a key community partner, I welcome their input into our CHIP process when we initiate the CHIP process, and they're a critical partner in that sense. And we also don't want to duplicate their efforts, so we have actually already engaged with Steve Krager, Amanda Stoltz, and other staff within the Blue Zones to make sure that whatever assessment they've done, we're going to be aware, so we don't duplicate those efforts.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for your update and presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Luke.
All right, moving on to item number 32, Neil Hay.
Adoption of a resolution authorizing the expenditure of the county's allocated share of the road maintenance and rehabilitation account funds created by Senate Bill 1, estimated at $3,997,880 to fund road rehabilitation and bridge replacement operations on designated county road segments included in the fiscal year 2022-23 roadwork plan.
So my apologies. Sorry, Guadalupe Rivera. Welcome.
It's okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the board. This item is a routine annual item to adopt a resolution to authorize the expenditures of the county's SB 1 funds for the county's road work plan. In March of this year, a study session was held to delineate all of the different road segments that are going to be proposed for the upcoming fiscal year's road plan, and this resolution will allow us to expend the funds associated with SB 1 funds on that work plan. The work plan segments are noted in your staff report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any speaker cards on this item?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item number 33.
Authorization of a revision to the fiscal year 2020-2021 road plan, approval of change order number 1 to the agreement with Lehman Construction Company, which adds a road segment to the scope of work and increases compensation by an amount not to exceed $100,000 for a new not to exceed contract amount of $3,277,024.69 for the fiscal year 2020-2021 road overlay project. Authorization for the Director of Development Services to execute change order number 1 for contract number RR31002116N.
So following the award of the contract to Lehman Construction, the department was contacted by residents in the vicinity of where the work was going to get done on Kempton Road and requesting that the 3/8 segment of that portion of the road may be repaved as well as part of this project. And after review of the conditions of the road and the previous work that had been done on the road, we evaluated it and are coming to the board for a recommendation to include that segment of work as part of this contract, the overlay contract. And the road plan would need to be amended in order to add this segment of the road into the work plan in order for us to be able to spend the funds on that segment of road. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any speaker cards? Any questions from the board?
No. Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 34, Gina Rowland.
Approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Sutter County Probation Officers Association beginning on July 1st, 2022 and ending on June 30th, 2025, and extending negotiated increases to unrepresented probation management employees.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the board. Gina Rowland, Human Resources Director for Sutter County. The item before you is to approve a new 3-year memorandum of understanding with the Sutter County Probation Officers Association starting July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2025. The existing agreement between the county and the Probation Officers Association expires on June 30th. And the county and the association began meeting in March of this year and reached tentative agreement in May 23rd, 2022 to be exact. And I'd just like to note, in my almost 20 years experience in labor relations, I have never seen a contract actually get renegotiated before the expiration date. So I'd like to commend the Probation Officers Association and the county's bargaining team. I wasn't an active member of that team, but that was Greg Ramirez, Christine Louigard, Danya Thompson, Annie Lou, for an outstanding job in getting an agreement before the expiration of the contract. So the attached agreement, or the agreement that's included in your packet, provides for 2% ongoing wage increases, the first one to be effective the second full pay period following board approval, 2% July 2023 and another 2% July 2024. It also provides for equity adjustments, 4% effective the second full pay period following board approval, and another 4% in July of 2023. These equity adjustments specifically bring the salary for deputy probation officer to within 5% of market, or 95% of our market average, given that we have extreme difficulty recruiting and retaining employees. The agreement also increases comp time max to 120 hours. It provides for the Juneteenth holiday, and it provides a range master incentive pay of 5%. There were other language changes, including to performance evaluation and leaves of absence. In addition to the agreement with the Probation Officers Association, staff is recommending that the base wage increases and equity adjustments negotiated be extended to the unrepresented management classes of Deputy Chief Probation Officer and Chief Probation Officer. This will ensure equity and prevent salary compaction between the represented classes and the unrepresented management classes in the probation department. The general fund pays for approximately 42% of the salary costs in the probation department, so the total cost to the general fund for this fiscal year 2022-23, is $116,215. They're expected to be covered within the adopted budget that was just on consent. And should the department not have enough appropriation to cover the expenses or the increases, we'll return to the board with for consideration of additional appropriation authority. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any speaker cards on this item? Questions from the board?
I don't have any questions. Great job working on that. Thank you for your effort on it.
Yeah. That is good news, something done ahead of schedule.
Yeah. It's a nice change.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'd like to move approval.
Second.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 35.
Approval of the appointment and of a 3-year employment contract with Sarah Eberhardt Rios as the Sutter County Director of Health and Human Services.
Okay, so the former Director of Health and Human Services retired on December 31st, 2021, and shortly thereafter the board appointed Sean Corley to act as the interim director until such time as we could recruit and the position and have a recommendation to fill the position permanently. So Sutter County is recruited for the position for an extended period of time and interviewed multiple candidates. Ms. Eberhardt Rios, who is an existing Health and Human Services branch director, and was determined by the panel to be the best candidate for the position. Ms. Eberhardt Rios possesses a bachelor's degree with an emphasis in biology from San Francisco State University and a master's degree in public administration from California State University, San Bernardino. Over the past 17 years, she's held progressively more responsible leadership roles in both local and state health and human services programs. She's been with Sutter County as the branch director, Health and Human Services branch director since October 2018, and has been overseeing acute psychiatric and forensic services since that time. She has extensive experience in leading change initiatives and in managing complex multi-system health and human services programs. The proposed 3-year agreement with Ms. Eberhardt Rios appoints her at step 7 of the salary range which is $187,363 annually, effective July 2nd, 2022. While Step 7 is typically a longevity step within Sutter County's salary range, Ms. Eberhardt-Rios has the requisite experience to qualify for that step. In addition, the employment agreement provides for an accelerated vacation accrual in the amount of 20 days per year, again, consistent with the experience that she brings with her to Sutter County. And it also provides a severance should the board elect to terminate Ms. Eberhardt-Rios without cause. Sufficient appropriation authority for the director's salary and benefits were included in the fiscal year 2022-23 recommended and now adopted budget, so there's no additional impact to the general fund for the appointment. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any speaker cards? Any questions from the board?
Through the chair.
Supervisor Flores?
Move approval of the recommended action.
Been moved and seconded twice.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
Aye. Welcome aboard.
Supervisor Flores?
Um,
Oh, I thought you were wanting to say. I was going to ask her.
Yes, thank you so much, Vice Chairman and members of the board, for this opportunity to serve Sutter County. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to support our excellent health and human services programs, the community members and residents that we serve, our outstanding health and human services staff who are working hard every day in our programs. I look forward to working with the board under your policy guidance and direction. I have no doubt that I will be coming before you at many future meetings, and I will do my very best on behalf of Sutter County and our community. And again, I thank you so much for this opportunity to serve as your Health and Human Services Director. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations once again. All right, we have our CAO, Steve Smith.
So just an announcement or two, but one thing I wanted to mention since we just spoke about it was congratulations to Sarah, and really thrilled to have her joining the department head team. Also, she has a big job in front of her, much like Dr. Liu is the only full-time health officer in the state that represents 2 counties. Sarah has been part of the team that oversees Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health, that is the only county that runs behavioral health for another county in the state. However, she has an excellent leadership team surrounding her, and I'm very confident that we'll see a lot of positive things continuing and moving forward. Otherwise, I was just going to announce the fireworks in Marysville as has occurred the last few years. I'm going to go with the schedule that it's dark on Monday, July 4th. And people could have probably figured that out, but just wanted to mention that, and I don't have anything else to announce. Thank you.
I guess we'll go down to board. Are there any, I guess, district reports? We're going to start on District 2.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. District 2, well, first of all, I just want to mention the fair this last weekend was great. It was great to see Supervisor McKelly there, Supervisor Baines, and Supervisor Ziegemeyer. Were you there, Matt? I didn't see you there. I'm sorry, but I saw the rest of you gentlemen there, so it was great. All the supervisors were represented in the 2nd District for the fair. It was a great turnout for the fair overall, so congratulations to all the kids who did so much work with their animals, too, and I know that it was very successful for the auction, so that was a good fair. I too want to congratulate Sarah, and I've known you for several years and looking forward to the great things you're going to do within that department, which, just a reminder to everybody, it's really the largest department in the county. So not only do you have this county, but you have Yuba County, and you have the largest department. So, but congratulations, and we do look forward to working with you. And then the fireworks extravaganza that is actually held in Marysville, but it's visible to Yuba-Sutter County, Marysville, and Yuba City, who are all involved and have been for many years. That's going to begin about 8 o'clock on July 4th, and everybody are welcome to attend. There's going to be food trucks and music and all kinds of great things on that night, so it'll be nice to come out there, and much safer than doing fireworks on your own. So come out and check it out, and really, it will be a really good show. Other than that, I've got nothing else to report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Mr.
McKelvey.
Chairman. Nothing to report from my district, but just wanted to say again also just congratulations to all the kids at the fair. It was a great event again, and I think we all have our freezers filled up after the auction for sure. But also just wanted to say, Supervisor Conant's son raises just a majority of the pigs for the kids, and so I know he does a really great work and also always sticks around to help out the kids, so it was really nice to see. So thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Conant?
I guess we'll do obituaries afterwards, right? Or are we going to do that now? Okay. Well, I'd just like to say thank you, Dan, for District 2 hosting the fair again in the heart of Sutter County, although God's country raises the best pigs. So anyway, and a lot of the good livestock as it comes into District 5. The fair was outstanding, and the kids did very well. Some of the best prices that we've seen in years. Probably higher than last year, just a little bit across the board, which is outstanding. The kids did a really good job and very responsible. In spite of the heat, it was hard to make some of the pigs mind, and some of the other steers had the same problems minding their owners. And but all the animals did very well at the fair, and I think people had a good time at the fair this year, so that was good. And we will all be seeing you on the 4th of July for the fireworks show. And then I guess I'd like to close in memory of Cotton Rosser. He passed away at the age of 93 on June 22nd of this year. He was in Reno at the time of his death, which is not surprising. Cotton was always everywhere promoting a major owner of livestock for rodeos, and an innovator in rodeos throughout his career. And he was a bronc rider in the 50s when he was injured. And but he was a great individual, and many fond memories of Cotton and his work in the livestock industry. As a matter of fact, when you drive to my ranch, most of the time I drive by and see the stock out in the fields near our farming operations. So, well, memory of Cotton. I'd like to close in memory of him. Thank you. And a letter sent to his family.
Thank you. All right. I have some requests from Supervisor Ziegemeyer. Also, he wanted a letter of condolences sent out to the family of Cotton Rosser. He has a list here of, he wanted to honor some certain individuals. Congratulations to Courtney and Jared Twiss of Twiss Realty for being voted 2022's Best in Business in Mariposa. Courtney's a 1999 graduate of Sutter High School. He also has here, he wants congratulations, apply for Riley Wickham for being selected as the Cal High Sports Medium School Player of the Year. The Northern Sections has only had 2 state players of the year, and Riley is the first Northern Section player to earn the award for the medium schools. So congratulations to them. And also, I guess he has a certificate of congratulations for each of the Supreme Champion livestock auction, the kids that were participating in the livestock auction for this last weekend. If we could all be added to the letter of condolence, everybody wants to be a part of that. And that's that for Supervisor Ziegemeyer. I also had on here, going back to the fair, as everyone mentioned, they raised over $1.3 million on Saturday for the children in the livestock auction. And especially in this economy, it's pretty impressive. Those kids are doing a great job. I'd also like to have a letter, in addition to the one for the kids with livestock, that a letter of congratulations to all the Yuba-Sutter Fair Scholarship Program winners. And that, I guess I just want to go back to where this whole meeting started was I want to congratulate the staff and all department heads once again for that budget, for all coming together and making it happen. That congratulate each and every one, and thank you all for the hard work that you all put into it and making that happen. I have nothing else to discuss or to bring up at this time, so we're going to move on to closed session.
Through the chair.
Oh, sorry.
Move approval. Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McKelly?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Conant?
All right, we're going to move into a closed session.
Take a quick break.
Yeah, we're going to, because everybody's in the exit.
There are two. Is conference with labor negotiator Gina Rowland, Sutter County General, Supervisory, and Professional Bargaining Units, and unrepresented employees in the following bargaining units: confidential, deputy county councils, and assistant county councils, and management including appointed and elected department heads, pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. And the second closed session is conference with legal counsel existing litigation, Tahara versus the County of Sutter, Sutter County Sheriff's Department et al., case California 3rd Appellant District case number C095718, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.